Rugby World Cup 2019 is not too far away. I thought we'll have a look and see which side going into the Rugby World Cup is the most well supported. Now, that is a pretty hard thing to measure. How do you tell how many fans follow a team? Is it by their attendance? Is it by, like competition attendance? Like Super Rugby is poorly attended, but Six Nations is greatly attended. Rugby Championship in the middle. How do you tell? I've gone with a pretty simple one. I've gone with social media followers. Now, social media followers is not a fair measure of how many fans are following a team. Like my dad, he's a pretty diehard New Zealand fan, but he's sure not following any teams on social media. So, yeah, there are gaps, but it's a fun little look. Don't take it too seriously, but we'll have a look. I've looked at Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter to see how these followers rank. It's interesting because obviously some countries have more followers on certain platforms than others. There were a little bit of, I guess, difficulties in searching the information for those who do not use English as a language, a first language in their country, official language, because some countries have two accounts, like an official one and a official English one and official native language one, whatever that language may be, and not necessarily all of these counts are official. But hey, I'll go over the teams from the bottom to the top, and you guys can let me know your thoughts towards the end. So the bottom team at the World Cup for social media follows is Namibia. Across their three platforms, I counted 15,123 social media followers. 13,900 of those were on Facebook. So I'm not actually sure if their Twitter and Instagram accounts are official. I think perhaps not, but their Facebook account seems to be. So bringing up the rear. 19th, one above Namibia, is Tonga. There's a big jump between Namibia and Tonga. 47,897 followers. I should say that I took these numbers at the end, or was it end of July, start of August, so they may have changed a little bit since then. But 47,897, again, most of them on Facebook. Fans for Tonga. So, almost 50,000 fans. Not too bad. Above Tonga, in 18th is Uruguay, 76,355 fans. Interestingly, Twitter is their biggest one, 50%. More than 50% of them on Twitter, whereas Facebook is only 24%. Some people, I remember when I did this video for Super Rugby teams, the guys who followed the Jaguares, the Argentinian team, said that Facebook was for old people. So maybe that's true. I've got a Facebook page. Next, I've gone with, it is, what are we at? 20, 19, 18, 17 is Russia. Russia actually break 100,000 followers, and I'm not including the English accounts, just the accounts which are in Russian, and it's 105,000 odd fans of the Russian rugby team, and 85% of those are on Twitter. So it's another platform where, another country where Facebook is well behind. Facebook was like 3%, 3,500. Most of their fans are on Twitter. Next is Samoa, and Samoa had an interesting one, but I'll go over that in a second. They had 193,000, so again, almost double Russia. We're moving forward and kind of like almost doubling every time. 193,240 fans. Most of those on Facebook, 130 odd thousand on Facebook. Their accounts all seem to be official, but I'm not sure if their Twitter has been hacked. Like the last post was 2018, and they were starting to tweet about concrete benches. So either they got a concrete bench sponsorship or they got hacked. I'm not quite sure, but that is what it is. Above Samoa is Canada. Again, it's a massive jump. It's to 238,000 fans for the Canadian team. A pretty even spread, 40% across Facebook, 34% on Instagram, and 26% on Twitter, so relatively even spread. Above Canada is Japan, and it's another pretty big jump. We're getting into the 300,000s now, 325,914, not including any English pages, just the stuff which is in Japanese. although I'm not sure that their Instagram page is official. It was only 9% of their fans, 28,000 on Instagram. But if you look on the Japanese rugby website, the Japanese version, it links to their social media pages at the bottom. It says, follow us on social media. And it links to a Facebook page, a Twitter page, and a YouTube page, but it does not link to an Instagram account. So I'm not sure whether that one is official. I'm inclined to think it is not. Above Japan is Georgia. Georgia on 349,000, so that's not a huge jump from Japan. But it is interesting that Georgia is above Japan in number of rugby fans. 349,000. Majority, 81% on Facebook. Instagram and Twitter very much lagging behind in terms of popularity in Georgia. Above Georgia is Fiji. And it is a big jump between Georgia and Fiji. 523,988. That is a whole lot of fans of the Fijian rugby team. I think Fiji has a population, is it just under 1 million? Or is it around about 1 million? And they've got 500,000 fans of their rugby team. That's impressive. They do play an attractive style of rugby, so I guess that makes sense. 64% of their fans are on Facebook. Above Fiji is Italy. Also in the 500,000s, 550,000 fans. The majority of them, or half of them, on Facebook. The rest spread pretty evenly between Instagram and Twitter. USA comes in next. One of the bigger countries, probably them and Russia be the biggest countries in terms of population. But yeah, USA 562,000 fans, so a few more than Italy, despite being a tier 2 nation. Still 560,000 fans. Just more than half on Facebook. Instagram next, and then Twitter is last, which I thought perhaps a bit surprising, but I guess that is the way of the world these days. I don't get on Instagram much, to be fair. Argentina is above USA. They are on 766,000, so a good 200,000 more than USA, so we are really cooking with gas now. We're getting towards the million mark. Argentina, 766,000. Remember what I mentioned about South America not being a huge thing on Facebook? 42% on Twitter, 31% on Instagram, 27% on Facebook. So Facebook last in the social media stakes there. Scotland is next, 792,000. So we're getting into some of the top teams now in terms of number of followers, and I guess some of the top teams in terms of their rugby rankings as well. Scotland, 792,000. Twitter is their biggest platform, which is an interesting one. Australia is next, 1.1 million rugby followers. 58% of them on Facebook. So if that's true, then a lot of old fans of Australian rugby. I'm not sure if that is just a stereotype about average age of social media users. I do know that my mum is on Facebook, but she's sure not on Instagram or Twitter. Next, above Australia, also in the millions, is Wales. 1.2 million social media followers. Facebook the biggest, Twitter second, Instagram third. Then we move on to the top 5. So it is France in 5th, 1.5 million followers on social media. It's Twitter for them, which is the biggest one at 45%. Above France, 4th place is Ireland, 1.7 million followers. I guess what's Ireland's population, like 4 or 5 million? So it's still a pretty impressive number, 1.7 million. Relatively even spread, 43% on Twitter, 35% on Facebook, and 22% on Instagram. So kind of staggering down. We break 2 million with 3rd place South Africa. I guess by population, South Africa's got to be up there as well. South Africa, 2 million and 58,000. 55% of them on Facebook. Instagram not so popular in South Africa, only 15% of their fans on Facebook, on Instagram, and Twitter with 30%. Top two. England is second with 3.5 million fans. So remember, South Africa was at 2. Add a 1.5 million to that for England. 3.5 million fans, 52% of them on Facebook, Instagram 20%, and then Twitter 28%. And number 1 It's the All Blacks Facebook page. Well, for Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Their social media, 6.9 million. New Zealand only has a population of like just under 5 million. So we've got more social media followers than we do people. That being said, a lot of people will be one person following all three pages. So don't read too much into that. As I said, it is just a bit of fun. But 67% of them are on Facebook. Instagram 20%, and Twitter very, very much lagging behind in New Zealand. 13% of the fans on Twitter. So 6.9 million is the top international rugby team in terms of social media followers. The All Blacks do a lot of work on their branding, so I guess that makes sense. They're pretty successful, so that makes sense too. But bottom of the pack, 15,000. Top of the pack, 6.9 million. A bit of a shift. But just to put that into comparison into the global scale, Real Madrid's Facebook page alone has 110 million Facebook fans or followers. So still kind of a small fry in the scheme of things to have 4 point something on their Facebook page and 6.9 all up. You guys let me know your thoughts on those numbers. As I said, it's mostly just a bit of fun. But yeah, I thought it was interesting to have a look and see. I'm not sure if any of those accounts have a particularly good social media game. Like some of them are better than others, like being a bit funny or entertaining. Some of them are pretty dry. Some of them don't post regularly. Some of them post about concrete bench tops. But hey, if you guys have got any social media stuff that you should look out for among those teams, do let us know in the comments as well. And yeah, I'll talk to you again soon. See you later.